Welcome to the Tournament Poker Edge podcast, brought to you by TournamentPokerEdge.com, the only podcast dedicated exclusively to poker tournament strategy. Now here's your host, Clayton Fletcher. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Tournament Poker Edge podcast. Clayton has the week off, so Killingbird here, filling in the comedic shoes of Mr. Fletcher. I'll do my best, I promise. And I got my old friend aznAllin007 here. How's it going, Mark?
I am old. It's good, man. Good. I'm happy to be here. Quarantine life. Been shaving my head. Basically bald. Sure, we're the same now.
Wow, nice. I tried to grow a mustache during quarantine. It didn't go particularly well.
I've been playing around with my beard too. I've gone fully bare because I wasn't leaving the house. Groceries delivered, so I was shaving it all. No beard, mustache, just goatee. You get kind of bored.
I know. I've grown it and shaved it and then grown it again 3 times. And I keep thinking that maybe the third time it'll look a little better, but no, I just always look like a bad porn star.
Bro, I refuse to leave my house when I first shave my head because I'm doing it a 1, and I just have these dwarf ears, and I'm like, dude, this is not a good look. So if I had to go somewhere, emergency, I would definitely be wearing a beanie or a hat or something. I would not step foot outside.
So yeah, speaking of having to go anywhere, how weird was it not being in Las Vegas at all for the World Series of Poker this year?
Yeah, and I don't even play that much when I'm out there anymore. Or at least the last year I didn't. But yeah, not being out there just sucks. Just seeing all the, how many friends I've made through poker. Not seeing them is, it's kind of sad. Not hanging out with you, getting drinks. Seeing the TPE fam too. Love all those guys. It sucked. Yeah. Weird, very weird.
First year, I didn't even really think about this before, but the first year in 10 years that there was no TPE meetup. It's weird.
You take for granted, we were talking about this right before we started, you take for granted just playing shuffleboard and having a beer. Yeah. The simple things, you take it for granted, and then once it's gone, you're like, shit, that shit was fun. Fuck. So yeah, it's been a big adjustment. We're kind of already hermits playing online poker for as long as we have. But, not having the ability to do stuff sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like you were saying, we are already sort of isolated anyway. So it feels like it just compounds the pain of that when you really just can't go anywhere. And I know, there's probably some people listening to this who live in areas of the country that haven't been as impacted or whatever, but I know you were in the thick of it when it first started, the worst spot.
Lockdown, other than New York, probably the worst spot.
True. And North Carolina
and Italy, obviously.
We were one of the red states on the map there for a while. We've actually finally started kind of going back down, or at least flattening here in North Carolina, but it's still pretty bad. The governor just extended. Well, they're calling it phase 2.5, which means they just open a couple of stores or whatever, gyms or something, but you got to be 20% capacity So yeah, we're still pretty much in lockdown here.
They tried California, they tried as soon as they lifted the restrictions, you could go out and do stuff, immediately it bumped. Californians, Americans in general, are all just kind of stupid. It's you're allowed to go out, and then everyone goes out that day to the beach, and there's 10,000 people at the fucking beach. It's really, guys? There's that many fucking idiots out there? Oh, drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Respect everyone, wear a mask. Let's go. Move on.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's pretty much the answer. I've actually kind of started to get to the point where I feel like I just need to go somewhere and do something. And maybe even just by myself, because I've been around the same 2 people for 6 straight months, 24 hours a day.
Dude. Yeah, how many more divorces are going to be? Not saying you and him, but think about that, a husband and a wife. They're damn, I don't really like this person. Yeah. I used to only see you 10 hours a week, but shit, this is way too much. Therapy, if you're a fucking psychiatrist, you are looted right now. Like, you're just Zoom meetings, like, marriage counseling. Like, shoot, we're in the wrong industry, Chirp.
It's so true. So yeah, Leanne and I are actually going on a short trip tomorrow, but then in October I'm going to the beach house by myself just to get away. Just gonna live with myself for a few days.
Yeah. I mean, I live alone, so I've been alone the whole time, which is just always... I do miss being around people. Like, I've seen my family 3 times during this, because my sister's pregnant, so we're super... she's super... I mean, she should be. So, yeah, we haven't seen each other that much, but I just talk to people on Skype, play video games to get my human interaction, but...
Yeah, are there things that you've picked up like during this quarantine that you just like never did before? Like, I had this big plan that I was going to learn a foreign language while this was going on.
Dude. Oh, so you're like me. So like the first day, I'm like, all right, like basketball's done, so I'm not going to be playing any daily fantasy. I might dive into some poker. We'll see. But like, I need to learn something, so I like book Excel. I book like online class, not an online class, but I hired someone off Twitter, and we did one course, and it was great. And then the next day, my little brother texted me, he goes like, "Dude, you got to try this game out, Call of Duty." And I was like, "Yeah." And I've been dabbling with video games, but like maybe like a couple hours a week, nothing crazy. Bro, and I bought this game, man, and shit, it just went all downhill. I mean, what are we, 6 months later? How many months have we been in lockdown?
Yeah, I think we're close.
It's bad, bro. I mean, I've been just how I was with online poker 7 days a week, like 8 hours a day. I mean, because I sucked. Like, I was dog shit, and it was driving me nuts. Because you've played it, so you know the struggle. Yeah, like, it's not any... And with these... My brother and all his friends are like 30. So they're still, like, not old and withered. 38, you start seeing shit, like, there's seagulls that fly in the game, and, like, I'm constantly shooting at these seagulls thinking it's a guy jumping from a fucking parachute. Like, and then they'll, like, go, like, oh, he's right in front of you, Mark, he's right in front of you. I don't see him. I'm like, dude, I hate you guys. So, like, I've spent money on a PC. Like, I bought a new monitor for it. I bought a $200 controller. I mean, I have new low for Mark Alioto, loser dome. Like, it's bad. But I don't know any other way, Chirp. It's like I can't just dabble with something. I'm kind of all in or all out. So, yeah, that's, I guess, asking me something I've wanted to do. It was Excel. It quickly turned into video games.
Yeah, I think I learned like 2 words of Spanish. Like, I did it for a day. Like, I was like, all right, I'm just going to learn a couple words a day. I learned like 2 words, and I just never looked at it again. I'm just like, cool.
Bro, you know what it's like? It's like the New Year's starting, and you're like, all right, New Year's fucking resolution. Yeah. I'm going to study. I'm going to lose weight. Day 3, you're blacked out drinking Jameson while ordering fucking like fat burger. You know what I mean? Like, it was a good effort on both our parts. Spanish, Excel, those are things we should know.
Yeah.
Just failed.
We're just not good at keeping our goals. Like, I actually looked at the 2020 poker goals thread on Tournament Poker Edge today. I'm like, well, that was a joke. This year is just a wash. So I got so desperate that, and I think I've told you this before, but I got so desperate that I was literally doing the Madden Sims DFS tournaments.
Dude, yeah, that's when you hit rock bottom. I had to like talk to you. It was tough.
And I kind of got good at it too, but then 2021 came out, and of course all the rosters and stuff are different. So now I'm just like losing everything. It's like, oh, like cool.
Dude, I studied 19. Like,
yeah, but I did. One thing that was good is I got into the stock market, which, I mean, I've always invested just like through 401ks and IRAs and all that stuff.
I have a story about that. Yeah, you got in at the right time?
Yeah. I think. Who knows, I guess, at this point, this whole thing could just... It feels like a huge bubble right now, like just waiting to burst.
It's amazing. I know, and that's... So, I like deposited in the E-Trade. I got some money in there, and I marked 5 stocks. Netflix, Amazon, Penn, Coca-Cola, Apple. And Penn was the one, like, other people can attest to this. Penn is Barstool Sports, by the way. Like, they paired with Penn Gaming. And so I looked the other day, and I've been following, and I looked at the other day when I marked it, because on E-Trade, when you follow a stock, it shows the day you marked it. It was $9. I think it closed at 58 like 3 days ago.
Oh, man.
And I mean, dude, Dave Portnoy, like, whatever you want to say about him, arrogant piece of shit, whatever. The guy's brilliant.
Yeah,
and, like,
he's a great marketer.
His content is hilarious, too. Like, yeah, he's probably a racist and amongst other things. But, like, pure entertainment value, and, like, I mean, dude, he started that company from his basement, and, like, look where it is now. And pairing with Penn was genius. I mean, that company is through the roof now. Dude, it was just a moneymaker, and I didn't put a cent into it, so, like, yeah. And I sold all my Bitcoin at the bottom.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I talked to people that are way smarter than me, and they're like, dude, yeah, get out, like, and you can get back in. And I got out, and I couldn't get back in. But I wouldn't change that because these people kind of do that for a living. You actually know, I'm not going to mention them. But, yeah, so, like, 2020 has been a disaster financially for me. Let me tell you, like, lost a shit ton on Bitcoin, missed out on the stocks. I mean, the stocks is incredible. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like the stimulus check. Like, yeah. I mean, and like the stimulus money, all went into Bitcoin, so it didn't go to the stock market. It was crazy. There was like an absurd amount of $1,200 Bitcoin purchases the day everyone got their stimulus check, which is kind of hilarious. But yeah, stocks were supposed to fail, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna get my money in E-Trade. I'm gonna buy. And like, dude, a guy that knows nothing about the stock market trying to pick when the bottom is, like, what was I thinking? I'm like way too smart to think I could guess.
I know. That's my.
Apparently not, though.
That's one thing I'm disappointed about is that I've really gotten into it, but I haven't gotten into it in a way that I've actually learned anything about it. Like, I don't know what PE rating ratios are. I don't know any of that shit. I just basically, like, follow what the kids on Robinhood are doing.
Yeah.
And if they're like, yeah, buy Apple, it's going to split. I'm just like, okay, I'll just buy a bunch of Apple and hope it goes up.
I mean, dude, like, that's a skill in itself, is like following smart people, which is what I thought I was doing with Bitcoin. No, it made sense to get in, like, when stocks, like, fail. And, dude, Amazon and Netflix, I just thought about it. I was like, well, what the fuck are people going to do in lockdown? They're going to order shit off Amazon, and they're going to watch movies. And sure enough, I mean, it's like, you know, could not be. It was the easiest buy ever, and I failed.
Yeah, I picked a few things that I thought would benefit from this situation, and some of them ended up being good. But like, there were a couple that I should have picked earlier, like Zoom.
And then Zoom, yeah.
Like, it's just so clear that was going to skyrocket. And I do have some Zoom, but not nearly as much as I should have.
Yes and no, because whoever the freaking owner is of Skype, like, way to drop the ball here. Like, you were number one. You have this technology, and Zoom just kicked you in your mouth, and you're not going to ever get up. I mean, Zoom is disgusting. I looked at the graph the other day.
Yeah, it's been.
Yeah, that stuff makes sense. Zoom, Netflix, and like
Clorox. Like, that's one of the ones I bought.
I mean, shit, toilet paper is probably through the roof. Everyone, I couldn't get paper towels for like 3 months, and I was getting that toilet paper, you know, that you wipe and you're just guaranteed to bleed, like the really thin, hard stuff.
Yeah. Luckily, my wife's a morning person, so she would get up at like 6:30 and then go to the grocery store, like when they were unloading the trucks. But I would have been out of toilet paper months ago if it was up to me.
Oh, speaking of Leanne, I saw her rescue these dogs. I need to hear this backstory because I saw it on Facebook. It looked, I don't know if they were beagles, but it was like a mom with her pups.
Yeah.
So explain, please, because I saw this on Facebook and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, so basically, for people who don't know, my wife and I, mostly my wife, she does all the heavy lifting. We work with a local rescue here called Triangle Beagle Rescue. And she's mostly in charge of like social media and the newsletters and stuff like that. But every once in a while she has to like get her hands dirty. So somebody had called the rescue and said that there was a mom and a bunch of puppies living under a bus, like a mom dog, that is, living under an old bus in the woods. So yeah, my wife and another guy from the rescue drove out there. It was like 2.5 hours away, and had to like dig holes under the bus so they could get in to get all the dogs out and stuff.
Dude, they didn't even look dirty. Or like unhealthy. I mean, maybe the pictures. Maybe I didn't see all the pictures, but they didn't look like they were that unhealthy.
I think they definitely looked like they were eating. That's one of the things Leon and I talked about. Like where were they getting their food? Like I guess just dead animals and shit. I don't know.
And they so you don't think someone like just dropped these dogs off like in the woods or?
I have a feeling she was probably just a stray and probably mated with another stray somewhere along the line.
Got banged out by another stray.
Yeah, that'd be my guess. It's the reason that there's specifically a beagle rescue here is because hunting is so big, and basically when the dogs become useless, or if they just never learn to hunt, the hunters just like turn them loose in the woods.
Solid people.
Yeah, real good folks. So yeah, there's a lot of beagles on the loose here, but but they're doing good. They're healthy. And they're definitely not pure beagle. In fact, I think the mom was actually a walker hound, not a beagle. And then I think they're like brindle, so it might have been a pit bull, which is probably not the best thing to get raped by if you're a dog. But it's like, okay,
I'm done. So. I can't run.
So yeah, that's been keeping us occupied as well. All the things.
Yeah, I mean. Oh, dude, props to you guys. I mean, you foster a bunch, too. Are you fostering these ones?
No, we actually haven't fostered since we moved into this house.
By choice, or just...
mainly because, like, a couple of our dogs are starting to get older now, and they're a little bit crabbier, and they don't get around as well and stuff, and, when you bring a foster, you just never know how they're going to be, like... if they're going to like leave the other dogs alone, and we don't want them to get hurt. So we're kind of waiting, hopefully not anytime soon, but we're kind of waiting for our dogs to pass before we start, getting more
Yeah,
fosters.
That's such a cool story when I saw the picture of your wife, like this overthrown bus, like digging these dogs out. I was like, oh my God, I am so useless. Like as I'm like dribbling fucking guacamole from my Chipotle burrito onto my chin, like... It's like, that's the thing that's happening during this trip. I have felt so worthless. I'm just like, what? Because, okay, so what I thought about, I was like, well, maybe I'll get back into poker full time. I was like, maybe I'll do it. And I sat there first couple days, thought about it, and I was like, dude, it's just not that easy. Like, I can't just, like, get back into this. Because I'd have to dedicate all my time, and then I would not be able to do daily fantasy. So I'm like, all right, you know what? Let's not do that. Like, I don't want to go down that road again of being... Because in order to be, like, good and making a substantial amount of money playing poker, especially now...
Yeah.
It's like your life. Like, you're talking 7 days a week studying, like, 8 to 10-hour days. It's not the greatest life to be a professional anymore. It's tough. Especially online, it's really tough.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting better. So, yeah, and just... And then I see stuff like, all these stories on the news. I'm just like, oh my God, like I should be helping something. I have no clue. So then I just play video games and it's all gone. I'm like, oh, and I've also got in Chirp. I can't believe I haven't told you this. I ordered THC oil. And I hadn't smoked or touched marijuana in 10 years because I smoked some hash like 10, 15 years ago almost. And like I couldn't feel my arm. I had a massive panic attack. It was horrible. But I don't know why. I was just like, fuck it. Like, I want to try some. And, like, I got these drops. And, it's pretty great. Like, I miss it's 1-1 is the ratio. And I take, like, a third of a dose. And, like, I'm bombed sometimes. Like, freaking out lightweight. But I love it. Like, the sleeping has been amazing through it. Because, especially with back pain, it's been awesome. They just delivered it to my door. Dude. I don't even know. Like, this existed.
I started, is it called a tincture?
Yeah, exactly. The little dropper.
Yeah, I started using that in Vegas for my restless legs.
Yeah, but were you using the one with THC?
Yeah, it was.
Oh.
I forget the ratio. I think it was like really low THC though. Like I wouldn't feel high at all. It would just.
Yeah, was it? I wonder if it was a 20-1 because I have the 20-1 CBD to THC, and that's great too for sleeping. But the 1-1. Like, it kind of gets you fucked up.
I might have to try that. I actually don't use it anymore, but I still have it upstairs. But what's crazy, so I don't know if I've ever talked about it on a podcast, but I have restless leg syndrome, which is just annoying, basically. I know Mark knows that from my days, but the weirdest thing happened. So I started around Christmas time. I got a rash, and I was like, what is this? Like, why is this going on, and why is it not going away? So I started like researching like stuff, and I was like, I should check the medications that I take. Let me see if any of those like cause a rash. Turns out the one that I did, it said like in like less than like 0.05% of the people or something like get a rash, and I'm like, well, that could be me. So like I'm just gonna get off it for like 7 days and just see if it clears up, which it didn't. Long story, but it was the weirdest thing. I didn't have any trouble sleeping. Not a single like incident of restless leg syndrome. Like I had been taking a pill every night when I went to bed for a decade or something.
So wait. Let me just get this straight. So the medicine prescribed to help you sleep through restless leg syndrome was actually giving you restless leg syndrome that's the conclusion I'm drawing here, Chert.
Well, I don't think so, because I had restless leg syndrome for like a decade before they came out with this medication.
I was more being sarcastic.
Oh.
But, yeah. but it's gone now.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. Like the first night, I just like laid down in bed. I'm like, I'll probably be here with for 3 hours with restless legs, and I fell right to sleep. And then it happened another night, and then another night, and I haven't taken a pill since like December 28th or something like that.
And it's gone?
It's gone. I haven't had a single incident.
Oh my God, hallelujah, that is awesome.
It is the weirdest thing. I don't know how I was cured. I don't know what I did. I have lost some weight, but I also had restless leg syndrome when I was way lighter than I am now. So I don't really know how to explain it. But yeah, that's the exciting poker content that I have for you guys today.
I know, they're probably like, is this a fucking poker podcast? Like, nobody wants to hear about guacamole and restless leg syndrome.
I have to say...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I have to say that I did read a review of our podcast one time where it was like, stop with all the sports and drinking and
No.
gambling.
I remember that when you sent it to me. We did the NFL draft like for our picks, and some guy's like, "Oh, listen to this stupid poker podcast," and it did an NFL draft. Like, take it easy, buddy.
I should have done like a disclaimer.
You want a poker podcast? Go to Run It Once or something, man. Like, you want that nerd shit? Go ahead.
I should have done a disclaimer at the very beginning of this saying, just so you guys know, we're probably not going to talk about a lot of poker today, but we should get into a little bit of poker.
Yeah, because there is actually some news too. So cool.
Yeah, so I guess we'll start with the saddest news of the week. For those who haven't seen it, it's a bunch of people tweeting about it, but Mike Sexton is in hospice care it was pancreatic cancer, right?
I think it was prostate.
Oh, prostate.
One of the two.
Yeah, so, I mean, super sad. Like, I was thinking about it earlier today, actually. There's so few people in the poker world who nobody dislikes. You know what I mean?
Dude, it's funny you're saying. I mean, this is exactly how I feel.
Like, from the Daniel Negreanos to the Phil Hellmuths to the Mike Mattis, I was like, half the people hate him, half love him, blah, 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 blah. Nobody hates Mike Sexton that I know of.
I don't think so either. And shout out to hospice. Like, for those of you that have parents that will end up getting sick, hospice is amazing. They basically come in your house. They're cheap. And they, make everything go smoother. It's nice. Yeah, really sad. I remember Danny actually hung out with him. I believe it was in Canada for a tournament. And he, bought Danny and his friends, paid for all their drinks and stuff. And he's like, dude, he was the coolest dude ever. Because Danny was kind of fanboying him, he said.
Yeah. And
I would too, man. When I used to see him in the hallway at World Series, I would totally fanboy. And he was so nice. Like, a lot of people will just, keep walking. Not him. And I felt it was genuine. I feel like it wasn't just because he, represented WPT and Party Poker whenever. I felt like he was he stopped and shook my hand, talked to me. And Danny said the same thing. He's bought us all our drinks. I'm just like, dude. Yeah. And yeah, like you said, I've never heard a bad story about this guy ever.
Yep.
And he runs with all the big boys too. He's played in all the big games. Usually you can find a flaw from these pros,
right.
Whether they're cheating in Pai-Gow or shooting people like Doyle back in the day.
Right.
I don't and it's very rare. It's super sad. When I read it, I was just almost. I don't even know the guy, but
he's
super sad.
Yeah, he's also just such an if you grew up in the poker era that you and I kind of came up in, he's just an icon. He's such an icon. His voice alone, you know it from the next room. You know what I mean?
Even if you don't know who he is, you wouldn't even see his face. You just hear his voice and go, "Oh, I remember this guy." And he was good at all the games too, Mix, No Limit, and like that, being good at all the games is something like in order to be like a full all-around poker player, like I feel like being good at all the games and being an ambassador of the game too is like super important. And like to rep, I can't think of a better guy to rep the poker community like forever than Mike Sexton. Like I legit can't name a guy I think would be better. A lot of people say Negreanu. And I'm like, dude, did you see his rant? Like,
man,
I mean,
I'm kind of like genuinely worried about him. Like, like from a mental standpoint, you know what I mean? Like,
I loved it. I loved it for this reason, to just know that, like, I don't know, because I don't know Daniel. I'm sure he's a really nice guy. But yeah, some of the things he says are weird to me. To each their own. But like seeing this, I was like, oh my god, like. This guy's human. Like, this is like, I've tilted, I broke screens, my mice, like, computer mice, keyboards, I've smashed shit. But I've never tooled that. Oh, God, maybe. I feel like I've never tooled out that hard. If I was on stream, I would never tool out that hard. That was epic.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
And for people that don't know what we're talking about, find it, because it's all over. You can Google it. Like, it is hilarious. He's playing, I think it's a World Series event, and someone says something about his wife, which, that's not cool. And he just goes off. It's, yeah. But I'm worried about him too, Chirp. Go on. Like, I mean, shit. That didn't look too good.
Yeah, like, it just seems like he's kind of, like, breaking or something. And he looks really thin, and, yeah, same thing. I've never met the guy, and I don't know him. He's probably a nice dude. But he just went ham. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, definitely
Dude, yeah,
search it out.
I feel like you guys need to watch it. Like, you need to watch this video and see what we're talking about.
I mean, I will say this, like, going back to just being like locked down and kind of bored and everything, like some of the Twitter drama has kind of kept me a little bit sane. Like, it's just like, yeah, what's happening today? Who's blowing up on who? Like there's some stuff like people have hinted to, but they haven't really come out yet. Like, oh, I'm gonna drop the names on these
cheating
scammers.
Scandal. When's this cheating scandal coming out?
I
man?
know. I'm
Jay Smith dropping bombs on Twitter and not saying nothing. I mean, shit.
Dropping duds.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that stuff is I enjoy that kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah. So you know what? His tweet is actually a good topic. Like, how do you feel if you think you know? What was the tweet? Like, roughly, you may know better than me.
You're pretty. I think it was roughly like you're pretty sure that there's a group of people cheating, but you don't have evidence to prove it. I think is what he said. But yeah, maybe I should look it up because I don't like. I think the way
No. That's it.
That's it. Okay.
That's basically it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to think of what I would do because
interesting. My reply to him wasn't really a very good answer, but I think it's accurate for me. Like I said, if you knew 100% they were cheating, but you had no evidence, I would drop the bomb.
I guess it depends what kind of cheating it is, too. If it's, like, multi-accounting, I don't even know if I'd report it. I'd be like, oh, everyone does that. Like, not that I don't do that, but, I mean, like, ghosting and multi-accounting is huge. I legit never done it. I mean, you can multi-account for free on WPN. You can have 3 accounts.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually not illegal. Not on ACR. You can have one on ACR, one on True, and one on whatever the dusty skins are. I mean, that's multi-accounting. But, like, I mean, ghosting happens, like, and technically there's nothing, like, defined that it's wrong. I mean, I'm not for ghosting. I think that's fucked. I would never have someone play a tournament for me. Like, I would want to win it myself. But, I mean, that happens.
Yeah. Oh, imagine how many times it happened.
Impossible to prove. That would be impossible to prove, too.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, think how many times it happened just in the World Series this summer. Like,
my God, are you serious? Like, yeah.
Like, I'm not going to accuse any individual person, but I'm just saying there's no way that some of these guys didn't call up their buddies and, or their backer got on with them, or their coach, or like,
100%.
You just know what happened. Did you hear anything about any incidents of people winning on GG from America? Like, I was kind of curious if that was going to happen.
I mean, I imagine that's happened too.
So do you just have the bracelet like shipped to Mexico or something, and then because I don't think GG's going to ship it to
I mean, you're
Virginia.
already proving residence in Mexico or something, so it just ends up getting shipped there. I mean, here's the thing: if and I would have a big problem with this. If they set up an account and like say they got caught down the line, see, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I stand by that. Like, even though you're not allowed to, but if someone is signing up under their real name from California, saying they're in Mexico and they win a tournament, they should not be able to take their funds. Like, I'm sorry, they just shouldn't. Like, they should be banned from the site after, like, completely never play again. But they did, like, it's a stupid law, A, and B, like, they're still playing themselves. It's not like they cheated.
Right.
Like, Postal, I would report. Like, shit like that, I would report. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's why I'm wondering what Jay Smith's talking about. It could just be a bunch of guys ghosting. And it's like, dude, that happens all the time. They're never going to be able to fix that. Yeah. Unless there's a camera, everyone has to play with a camera. And there'll be ways to cheat that. Like,
yeah, as long as they're not, like, colluding in sit and goes or...
you know that happens too. You know, cash.
For sure. Yeah.
That happens. Like, yeah, I'm not for that either. I mean, I got cheated on Stars for tons of money from colluders and Dons. It sucks.
Yeah.
But here's the thing with Jay Smith. He kind of owes it to his peers because, like, even if they're not taking money from him, like, they're taking money from people he plays with, people he's friends with, like, where, like, that becomes really fucked up. I mean, if they're taking money from Jay Smith, too, I would be like, no. Like, I don't want to be the snitch, but, like, I mean, if they're cheating, they're cheating. Fuck them. Like, they need to be banned.
Right.
But it depends what it is. Gray area.
I will say this, Jay Smith, if you're listening, if you do decide to release the info, you have to do it on the Tournament Poker Edge podcast.
Yeah, oh my God, dropping bombs.
That would be amazing. Speaking of the online World Series of Poker.
Speaking of Jay Smith, shout out to his World Series run that cost you and I, was it 400 each, 300 each?
Man, that could have been so great.
Well, now it's turning into Needle Jay Smith podcast.
Once you're on Team TPE, you're open game.
He took second last year in a bracelet event, and we're giving him shit.
I know. I haven't cashed a live tournament in a year, 2 years.
I haven't played one in a year.
That's
probably.
True. Hey, I played the Orleans knockout tournament last summer.
Why do you got to bring up the Orleans? Man, I love that place. My home casino, our home casino, Chirp.
That's right. Oh, epic craps runs.
Most people are like, my home casino's Aria, Bellagio. We're like, yeah? You ever been to the Orleans? Dust on the tables? Poker chairs from the 30s? Like, sign me up for that.
God, I miss it so much now.
I mean, I used to love playing at Binion's, dude. Like, Binion's... After the World Series, like, stopped being played at Binion's, it became this, like, hole-in-the-wall joint. And, like, we would always play there every year. And I loved it. I was like, dude, downtown Vegas is dope.
Yeah, when we go back next year, hopefully, we just need to go play all the dustiest casinos, like Nightly's and shit. We'll play, like, a $40 plus $20 rake tournament.
Oh, I think you can have beers, enjoy yourself. It's great.
Yeah, it'll be good times. So I did a podcast with Clayton a couple months back or whatever when they first announced that the World Series online event was going to happen, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm like really excited. Like I'm gonna watch all the broadcasts and like basically like I do every year for the real World Series." I think I watched about 8 minutes of like Twitch streams or whatever of the World Series online events. It was so incredibly boring to me, and it hurts me to admit it, but.
It makes me feel happy you said that because I didn't watch any of them, and like I didn't even think to watch them, to be honest with you, because there's something about having the characters, like seeing them live. Like I like seeing Prahlad Freeman tool out on some 90-year-old dude who's clearly not cheating him, angling him. Like I like that stuff. I like seeing the live tells. Like I feel like online. Commentary is probably stale, dull. I don't know. Who was doing it? Was Shulman doing it?
Shit, what's his name? Oh, shows how much I watched it. Plattman? Jeff Platt? Is that his name? I think it's Jeff Platt.
What was it good? Like
honestly, I don't even know if I watched enough of it to say if it was good or bad. I couldn't get it. Like you like turn on like ESPN. And you're like, oh shoot, I don't know, Ivy's at the feature table, like sick. But this was just kind of like, I don't know, it was like I was playing on ACR, which I do, but I didn't want to watch myself do it,
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know why. I think the same reason you. Like, I need that like that star-studded like sort of atmosphere, you know, like the lights of the Rio and Norman and Ron and.
I loved watching the main event coverage last year. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I always bet it, which makes it 10 times more fun. But I loved watching all the coverage, especially that they changed it to where you could watch it. Was it on Poker Go? What was it on?
Yeah, they
Twitch,
had it on,
Poker Go, whatever.
Yeah, I think they had it on Poker Go, and then I guess they aired it later live, right? Or aired it later on ESPN or something, I guess. Can't even remember.
Well, because I know they aired it live, and then they aired it later on ESPN, but they aired it live first on whatever it was. Yeah, it was amazing. I wish that wasn't the case this year. It sucks, and I think the bracelets are all still valid. Like, I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, these bracelets don't count because they're online. It's the same game. I mean, it's different. There's definitely a big difference between playing, but you still get dealt 2 cards.
Yeah. So, like, I had initially said, yeah, I don't know. I don't really feel like the bracelets will hold the same, like, cachet or whatever. But I kind of like, I think I've kind of changed my take on that. I think it's different, but I don't think it's like any less credible or whatever. I mean, like, I'm not going to know who won a bracelet this year. Yeah, I don't
know who won a bracelet. I know who won bracelets last year, and I'm not gonna. I mean, I think I saw a couple online. I can't even remember who they were. I know a Run It Once Pro won one. Yeah, I mean, they're different, but like, you could argue the online ones are even tougher because you're playing against the same guy 15 times. Like,
yeah.
because there's so much ghosting going on that. I mean, for those of you playing these World Series events that did play them, like, if you think there was nobody ghosting other people's accounts, like what ghosting is if someone goes really deep, they call their buddy who's the best player in the world and they go like, hey, finish the tournament for me. They finish the tournament. I'm not trying to turn you away from online poker, but this is very common and it's impossible to regulate. So, yeah, that's happened. So these tournaments actually could be tougher.
Do you think that the main event bracelet will be equal to or less than the real main event bracelet?
No. I mean, like, okay. So having played the main and having made day 3 and like not like I could have if I made this is the reason I stopped playing the main. If I made day 4, I would have been dust. Like, I don't think people understand the grind of 14 hours live. I could do 14 hours online 20 days in a row and I'd be fine. Live, for whatever reason, in Vegas, not eating well, not being able to drink and go to the... Like, at my house, I can drink as much water as I want and go pee between hands.
Yeah.
It's way tougher live, like, in that aspect. Like, so no, as far as the main goes, like, I will definitely look at that differently because... I think you actually, like, I mean, sure, a fat guy can win the main, but I feel like you kind of have, like, you'd be better off being in shape.
Right.
Because it's such a grind. And I've only made day 3. And, like, I was done, dude. Done. Like, brain just gone. I mean, I have so much respect for people. Like, when guys go, like, back-to-back final tables, I'm just like, what?
I know.
It's just, like, absurd to me that it's not only do you have to the luck factor, but, like, the grind of that all. Sitting there, like, 2 hours without a break, like, not being able to, like, it's just so different. Like, you could be on your computer doing stuff. It's just way different. So, yeah.
Who was it that final tabled the main event and then, like, busted and then went and entered another tournament and then final tabled?
Kata.
Oh, that's right, Joe Kata.
When Raymer did it, and we were like, that'll never be done again. Then Kata did it, but it wasn't back-to-back years. But it was still the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Yeah. Didn't he win the bracelet after?
I think he did.
He wins the main, and then he final tables it and takes third, and then the day after he's in another tournament, I think he wins the bracelet.
So crazy.
Like... And I think I like quoted saying this on podcast. I think he's like has to be considered one of the best live players like ever, and he's hella good online too. That's like absurd to me. Put it this way: the main event is different than any other event. Like it's just different. Like
yeah, it just cannot.
Not many people are mentally prepared or physically prepared for that.
Yeah,
like,
certainly not me.
I remember you coming home. And like we all look like zombies.
Oh, it's so exhausting.
I mean, we drink a lot, so.
Well, luckily I don't do it during the main. Well, I'll do the beer,
I'm just saying,
beer
like,
level.
Period.
But...
Like our brains are probably shot from all this stuff.
I mean, it's kind of true of a lot of things. Like I don't know, just I'm definitely starting to feel my age a little bit.
Oh, for sure, bro. Like just staring at a screen all those years, like my vision's shattered. I mean, yeah, I'm 38 and I feel like I'm 90 sometimes. Like my back, like trying to walk up the stairs, was like, oh, my back.
Yeah.
But yeah, what did you think about the schedule and stuff? It seemed like the events were good, and like, so how did it work? It's on GG and World Series. Like, I didn't understand it really.
Yeah, it started on WSOP.com for people in America, but of course you had to get to either Nevada or New Jersey. So like, yeah, half of it was there, and the other half was on GG, which I think is technically still running. I think the main.
God, we should have gone to Tahoe and done it. We should have gone to my brother's Tahoe house and played.
I considered, because there were like the events weren't super expensive. You know, it's not like all the events were 1500s and 5Ks and stuff. Like they had like $400 events, and I considered driving to New Jersey and playing and just getting like an Airbnb or something. But right when it was starting is when they announced that if you went to New Jersey from any of these 5 states, which were like the hot spots at the time, that you had to quarantine for 2 weeks. And I lived in one of those states, and I was just like, well, I'm not quarantining, but I'd also like, I don't know, I'm going to respect the rules and not go if I'm not going to do that. So I just ended up not going.
Yeah, that's always been my thing too, like just respecting the rules. Like I don't care what your opinion is, like on what COVID, if it, you know, whatever. But like I just respect the rules and like respect the elders and stuff. That's why like I'm like, okay, I'll wear a mask. Like it's a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, I'll put on a mask.
Yeah, I haven't seen my mom in 6 months because I mean, she also works in respiratory care, so.
Yeah, and I remember you telling me firsthand, you're like, dude, like, this is serious. Like, you know, and my sister-in-law is a nurse, which it hasn't been that bad at her spot in SF, so.
That's good.
But yeah, I mean, you told me the respiratory stuff's been horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just like, you know, I'd love to go, like, hang out with my mom and dad, but they're old and she's, you know, exposed all the time. So like, I'm just gonna chill and hope that, you know, 'cause I wouldn't be able to live with myself. Like if I got her sick or I got my dad sick or got anybody, like I'd feel horrible for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you know, they'd say like, oh, it wasn't your fault, but your whole life you'd be like, it was my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
And like,
so why even put yourself in that situation, you know?
Yeah. And I call Zoom. I'm actually gonna see them next month.
Seems like totally reasonable to think this way, and then like probably a bunch of people listening to the podcast don't agree with that. But to me it's just I don't know, it's not a big sacrifice, but I guess I think a lot of people too, when they adjust to this, they go crazy because we're kind of used to it because we play work from home. I think a lot of people just go crazy from it and they're like, can't do it anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of a good point. Like we're probably uniquely built for this, like more so than other people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, our jobs are basically online.
For sure.
I mean, obviously, like it hurt you, like you're losing a lot of your income from DFS and stuff like that. Like, but you could still do things, you know, like involving your work.
Like play video games.
Yeah, play video games.
No, I mean, I'm in a spot financially where it was okay for me to take months off. Like, I'm very lucky to have that. I feel bad as shit for everyone that lost their job. I feel bad for all the businesses that are done.
Yeah.
So many restaurants where I'm at just done. It's sad. Yeah, it's fucked. But like, I don't know. It's kind of like, what's more important, life or the economy? It's pretty obvious to me, but you know, to each their own.
Yeah, the economy, obviously. No.
money.
Give me money. As long as my stocks keep going up.
Sure, poker related. We got to talk about this Timex prop bet.
Yes.
Which
I was going to say which one. By the way, that is the one we need to talk about. But of course, he just nails the COVID bet too. Like,
well, what was his COVID bet?
That the World Series would get canceled.
Oh yeah.
Like really early though, like way before like things really got crazy.
I think he got 20-1 on it too. I saw Charter tweeted him.
Yeah. I don't know how much he made, but it had to be a lot.
What's more absurd, that, like, or the fact that he, like, looks like he had never shot a basketball and made 90 of 100 free throws?
That is crazy, especially considering, I mean, you watch basketball. I don't really watch basketball. Don't most pros not even shoot 90%?
No, like, dude, that's like Steph Curry.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the guy is just like a bot. Like, it's just amazing. So basically, he had a prop bet to make 90 free throws out of 100, and he had X amount of months to do it. And he did it with like 3 months to spare, like, pretty easily. Yeah, dude, like, it's what's sad is that all these NBA players can't do that. You know, if like Timex can do it, he's never picked up a ball. You'd think these guys who were born with a basketball, like, could work that hard. I don't know. It's just kind of why he's great at everything he does, and he's probably worth billions of dollars. He's just really smart, works hard.
I might play basketball like once every 5 years, but I know you hoop or used to before, you know, we started living in our homes all day. So how many? If you went to the gym right now and shot 100 free throws, how many you think you would hit?
Like right now, like I'd be lucky to hit 70. I mean, I'd probably make between 50 and 70, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I'd say usually I'm like a 75% free throw shooter. Like I've shot free throw. I shoot free throws all the time. I can't remember the last time I made 10 in a row.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm guessing. This is a complete guess, but I'm guessing I would make about 20 or 25. I should try to go do it, see how many I make, and then like practice for a month and see how many I make by the end. It would be kind of interesting. I would never get to 90 out of 100 though. I don't have that kind of willpower. Like I don't have to do it like consistently. Did he say what he did to train? Like, or did he just go shoot? I mean,
he probably just shot. Dude, like, I mean, I think he had like 280,000 on it.
Wow.
It's crazy how poker players are just like, yeah, let's go. 280,000. So like that would be enough incentive to wake up every day and shoot free throws.
Yeah,
I think I could do it too if there was that much money on the line and I had like 7 months. I think I could do it.
Yeah, I mean,
like
it's
legit all you do.
Like I guess I would go on YouTube and like see how, because I don't think I shoot properly either. Like my form is probably terrible.
I mean, yeah, but even if you like, yeah, there's definitely like a form. Like you basically just want to end up where you're shooting with one hand. Like your left hand, if you're a righty, would basically just be holding the ball and then you release one-handed. But even if you shot with the worst form, you could still do it because it's just muscle memory. You just do it every day,
right.
Every day. I mean, it would just work. Like, still absurd. Maybe not everyone could do it.
I wonder if the granny shot would be the way to go.
I think that was in the bet. You couldn't do it.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, they thought of everything.
Yeah, because that would have been GTO for sure. Crazy poker players winning crazy amounts of money doing crazy shit. Not shocked.
I love it.
So, Chirp, I want to hear poker. How's poker been for you? You been playing a lot? What's going on?
I've been playing a ton. I'm like pretty disappointed because I really feel like this last 6 months was probably a really good opportunity to make money, like with a lot of people coming back to I mean, I can't tell you how many people hit me up and are like, yeah, I haven't played in 6 years, but I'm home, can't work, so I'm just going to get back on the poker grind. And I have completely broken even or been down the entire 6 months. Like, it's just, and it's not like I can't even say like, oh, I'm running so bad. I mean, I've run bad at some spots, but the reality is I don't put in the work like I need to. Like, The smart thing would have been, as soon as they announced this lockdown, I should have dug into the fucking lab and studied my ass off for like 3-4 weeks, and then just went to the grind and started playing. But instead, I gotta kick back the beers. I gotta fucking do a shot here and there. It's just like such a wasted opportunity. Like I'm kind of mad at myself.
Well, so here's the thing. What happened? I mean, poker's like booming. I think I saw 400% or something. It's up like online.
Yeah.
I would have bet more. It probably is more. You get like a lot of the amateur. You get a lot of fish still, but then you still get some of the guys that retired that came back and play, and they may not be like the best, but like they're not bad.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably like maybe breaking even in that spot as far as like the playing field. I mean, I imagine there's still some more fish. But the problem is now you're just expanding these tournaments, so like you got to deal with more variance. So more volume needs to be played to battle that variance. I mean, dude, right now, these past 6 months, like studying, you're right. Like studying would be hit some videos and then PO solver and just reviewing hand histories could make a fortune. Like the fields are big, juicy. Like I'm sure the lower buy-ins too are super soft.
Yeah, and there's no excuse. Like I have the time, like more time than I've ever had on my hands. Like there's just no excuse. But I don't know. I think I would probably go a little bit more insane than I already am if I kind of dedicated myself to that. But
I'd love to talk to some pros and see how they're doing during COVID, because 6 months is a decent sample size, especially if they're playing a lot of weekdays, where I wonder if their ROIs are up. I mean, I'd imagine they're up versus like pre-COVID.
Yeah, that would be interesting actually. It might be cool to just like peel through like 10 shark scope graphs or whatever and just see.
Yeah, but here's the thing, maybe not though. Now that I think about it, because there's so many bigger buy-ins. Like unless you're Nick Palma, like these buy-ins add up.
That's true.
Like the World Series and stuff. Like probably a lot of pros are getting killed, to be honest.
Yeah, you might be right. The sites are winning. We know that much.
I mean, the beauty is, I was just going to say, like, poker is not going anywhere for a while.
It'll be interesting when things start to open back up, like, to see how live goes. Like, is it just going to, like, be a massive boom when live opens back up? I mean, I know it kind of has in some places, but not really. Like, will the next World Series be the biggest one ever because everybody's going to go to it?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, like, playing 8-handed with, like, windows up is amazing. Like, I love talking to people, like, I'm good with that. Like, I'm very personable to tables, like, I love it. But, like, there's certain times I don't want to talk to someone who smells like shit next to me or something like that, you know what I mean?
Right.
And, like, not playing 10-handed live poker is, I've almost left tournaments, like, $1,500 buy-ins, I was like, dude, I'm not comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, the fact that they'll never have that again, like one of the good things to come from COVID, and like I imagine these windows, because now they have those windows, I imagine those aren't going anywhere. The sneeze guards, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
For any.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
So I think it might be cool. I kind of want to go play. Like.
Well, I'm hoping to be back next summer. I miss my Vegas vacation.
Wow, I would wager. I think it'll be back by then. I have some faith in Americans. I mean, if we were any other country, we'd be back by now, so there's that.
Yeah, hopefully.
We're legit like the only country that's still fucking up. It just shows how dumb we are as a whole.
Yeah, hopefully we can get rid of this damn thing so we can all get back to drinking at PTs.
Exactly. Crazy year.
Somebody sent me a picture from PTs the other day, and I was like, oh, I missed that
place. Oh, sad year.
Well, cool. Dude, it was good catching up, man.
I know. I feel bad we didn't do any strategy stuff. We'll get to that another time. Because we're doing a reunion at some point with Big Dog and Diego. That'll be great. But we had to shoot the shit a little, catch up on some poker stuff.
Yeah, and surprisingly, like, people probably think that you and I talk like every day, but we've gone like a month or two sometimes without really saying hello to each other. So you guys basically got to listen in on our catch up time here.
Video games, Chirp. Video games got me.
The funny thing, and I have Call of Duty, but I'm terrible. But one of these days I should get on and play with you. Yeah, I'll have to do that. I want to get Madden. That's my next thing. Are you gonna get Madden 2021?
Of course, love it.
Or is it 2020? Sorry,
2020. I end up playing it for like a month, and then everyone's too good. But yeah, Madden's super fun. Like, super fun.
Sweet. We'll have some epic Niners-Dolphins battles. Matt Breda run all over your face.
Let's go. I'll deal with that. I'm fine with that. I like Breda.
Sweet. All right, dude. Well, thanks again, man. And thank you to everyone out there for listening in. Clayton will be back next week, and he'll bring some strategy with him, I promise. And we'll see you guys later on the Tournament Poker Edge podcasts.
hold 'em like they do in Texas Plays. Fold 'em, let 'em hit me, raise it, baby, stay with me. Log in intuition, play the cards with babes to start. And after she's been hooked, I'll play the one that's on her heart. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I'll get her heart, show her what I got. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I'll get her heart, show her what I got. Can't read mine, no she can't read a mile. Poker face, she's got to love nobody. Can't read mine, no she can't read a mile. Poker face, she's got to love nobody. Poker face, poker face. Poker face, poker face. I wanna roll with her, a hard pair we will be. While little gambling is fun when you're with me. Russian roulette is not the same without a gun. And baby, when it's love, it's not rough, it isn't fun.